Masemola accuses Police Minister Mchunu of a power grab over political killings task team. Operation Dudula storms Soweto schools with immigrant children in the firing line. And free from darkness to light, free cataract surgeries transform lives in rural Limpopo. Hello, I'm Jane Dutton.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola says Police Minister Mchunu overstepped his powers by ordering the disbandment of the political killings task team. Testifying at the Madlanga Commission in Pretoria, Masemola said Mchunu should have discussed the matter with him and KZN Commissioner Mchunu. Instead, he claims the minister abused his authority by issuing the instruction unilaterally and demanding it happen immediately.
And that's a wrap of National Police Commissioner Fani Masemola's testimony for today. He wrapped up at the Bridget Mabandla Justice College in Pretoria, obviously on his first day testifying at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. He's expected to continue at least into the first half of tomorrow, for most part of the morning, before he wraps up and concludes his testimony in full. Now, much of what we heard from him today, he had echoed that of his provincial commissioner in KwaZulu-Natal, Lieutenant General Mchunu, explaining that the decision to disband this political killings task team was unlawful by the police minister, Mchunu, outlining that Mchunu, as the police minister, is in charge of policy and legislation when it comes to things that he can suggest, but he can't actually get involved in operational matters. So the establishment of a task team or the disbandment of a task team is not within his scope, and therefore it could be deemed unlawful for him to have issued that instruction on December 31st. I think a lot of his testimony was contradictory, and the commission chair, Justice Mbuyiseli Madlanga, touched on that and tried to push him and probe him to expand on some of his testimony today, because he was contradicting himself, saying that while he deemed it unlawful and that he wouldn't comply with an unlawful instruction such as that to disband the political killings task team, he ended up complying with an instruction by Police Minister Mchunu to provide a progress report into the disbandment of this task team. So Mchunu issues out the instruction. Masemola deems it unlawful as it doesn't fall within his scope, but he still ends up complying by providing him with a progress report as to where they are in disbanding this task team. It's also important to note that right at the end, we were sort of on the big screen, we were brought up a number of evidence that was contained in this confidential report pertaining to that progress report that he supplied to the president as well as Mchunu, the police minister. And a couple of interesting notes that came out from that progress report, in that how many police officers were arrested in line with cases of political killings. 34 police officers had been arrested or implicated in political killings. That was part of that document that we are seeing. And the reason I bring that up is because that forms part of evidence. Now, much around the debate of this commission has been evidence. Where is the evidence, and why has the media not been able to get hold of that evidence or furnished with that evidence so we can unpack it and see whether it aligns with the testimony of the witnesses that have appeared? And we're still trying to understand from the commission side, when will the media get hold of that evidence? That's crucial to the establishment of this commission, is looking at the evidence and testing it compared to what has been said at the commission. A lot of allegations put up in the air that have to be tested, and it can only be tested in line with the evidence on the paper. For Eyewitness News, I'm Oren Singh in Pretoria.
First it was hospitals, now it's schools. Operation Dudula has taken its campaign to Soweto classrooms, demanding that principals stop enrolling undocumented foreign pupils. Today, the group tried to enforce its stance at several schools, but was met head-on by Gauteng Education spokesperson Steve Mabona.
We have a constitutional obligation to make sure that we teach all children. And constitutionally, all children of a school-going age must be at school. Now it's even worse. There's an introduction of grade R. The law dictates that those children must be taught.
Mabona says it's not only foreign national pupils who are undocumented, but also South African. And this comes after the EFF opened a case against the party for allegedly causing the death of a 1-year-old child by blocking his Malawian mother from accessing a clinic. Last week, Grace Banda says members of Operation Dudula prevented her from entering the Alexander Clinic to get help for her sick child. President Cyril Ramaphosa has arrived in New York for the UN General Assembly with a call for reforms to make the body more rules-based and multilateral. He's warned the UN has been held back by the Security Council's structure, still dominated by 5 permanent members with veto powers, representing only a fraction of the world's population. Today he joins a high-level meeting on the two-state solution, co-chaired by France and Saudi Arabia. Talks will also focus on Gaza, Sudan, the DRC and Ukraine. France and several Western nations are moving to recognize a Palestinian state. Britain, Canada, Australia and Portugal announced recognition on Sunday, piling pressure on Israel over the war in Gaza. The National Health Laboratory Service has admitted thousands of cancer patients are still waiting for biopsy results. It says more than 12,000 samples have been processed but can't be released without a final sign-off from pathologists.
To train a registrar takes 4 years, preparing them for Part 1 and Part 2 exams, supervising their research. And at the end of the 4 years, the NHLS proactively recruit these registrars in order to retain them. But what we have found is that 60 to 80% of the registrars who take up appointments as pathologists leave for the private sector within their first year. And so we continue to advertise our 17 posts.
The Truth and Reconciliation Commission inquiry has called for public submissions to support its investigations. Individuals and organizations are invited to provide statements, reports, or documents that may assist. The aim is to uncover and document unresolved cases that fall within the Commission's mandate. The Western Cape Infrastructure Department says it has set aside more than 1,800 hectares for affordable housing. This includes 303 hectares of provincial land earmarked for 17,500 homes in areas like Blue Downs, Belhar, Sea Point and Cape Town CBD. More than 1,500 hectares belong to the national government, and the province says it's waiting for that land to be released for projects in towns including Caledon, Grabo and Saldanha. Some patients from rural Limpopo have been living with preventable blindness say a surgery giving them the gift of sight again will be life-changing. 3 people recently got the chance to see again after being put on the list for cataract removal surgeries at the Hope for the Blind Hospital, a non-profit organization just outside Modimolle in Limpopo.
Nestled in the bushveld outside Modimolle, Limpopo, far from the hustle and bustle of city life, sits a hospital unlike any other. Hope for the Blind has been offering life-changing cataract surgery to patients who might otherwise never see again.
Hope for the Blind is a non-profit trust with the aim of creating a credible solution for preventable blindness in Limpopo.
The hospital, together with First Light, continues to provide these procedures to patients from rural communities who have limited access to specialized eye care. For many, it is more than a medical procedure. It's a chance to regain independence and improve quality of life.
Thousands of people have been evacuated in the Philippines as Super Typhoon Ragasa slams into the country's north with winds of more than 230 kilometers an hour. The storm could see surges higher than 3 meters, along with flooding, landslides and major damage to homes. Schools and government offices are closed, including in Manila, while nearby Taiwan braces for heavy rain and rough seas. We'll leave you with that and see you for more tomorrow. Don't forget to download the EWN app.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.